Hello and welcome to Lockdown Economy new series, Latin Americans Abroad, where we will get to meet Latin American entrepreneurs with businesses outside their own country. This is a social non-profit initiative by think tank AlterContacts, where real entrepreneurs share their insights. My name is Julian Infante, and today our guest is Sofia Pinzon. Hello,
Hi,
Sofia. How are you?
Hi, Julian. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Where are you right now?
I'm in San Francisco, California.
And how is the situation there right now?
I mean, everything is, let's say, relatively back to the new normal. Restaurants are, well, I own a restaurant, so restaurants have been operating throughout all the pandemic, but probably the last 2 months we got to build out like outdoor patios so people can sit down and dine. And I think last week they just opened indoor dining with some restrictions. And retail is open again. Fortunately, San Francisco had like a really strict lockdown, so the cases didn't really go up that much. So I think the situation is more or less under control for now.
Okay, but before we jump into that, why you don't tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Sofia Pinzon and how did you manage to open a restaurant in San Francisco?
Sure. So I'm Sofia. I'm originally from Colombia. I was living in China for 6 years where I studied event management. And then I did an MBA in hospitality in Le Roche in Switzerland. And then I decided to work in my field, which is hospitality. And I came up with this idea of opening a place because I'm really passionate about creating experiences. So yeah, that's how I ended up in San Francisco, opening the first ever avocado toast bar. It's called Toasty. And we right now only have a location, but we're hopefully expanding into other cities in California or hopefully the world in the near future.
And why San Francisco? What came to your mind to figure out that San Francisco was the proper place to open or to have this new venture for you?
So the location is kind of by chance. I moved here because my sisters lived here. I didn't really have an idea on what to do, and this came along. So it wasn't really planned like, hey, I want to go to San Francisco and start a restaurant there. It just kind of happened. And I feel like California is a place where it's a place where people are really like health conscious, they're into healthy eating. So it was like a match made in heaven.
Have everything fulfill your expectations?
I guess so. I mean, everything has been good, like business wise. We've been like really successful. We by now, if in the normal situation, I would have had a second shop, but because of the pandemic, everything is in standby for now. So that's been like the only thing that hasn't really been fulfilled.
Have it took you by surprise? I know that the pandemic took us all by surprise, but when it comes to hospitality businesses, did you have to change a lot your business practices because of this new situation, or how was it for you?
So in terms of the way the store operates, not really. I mean, we just couldn't have like customers come in at first. I mean, still we don't let anyone in because our shop is really small. It's really hard to keep that social distance within the store. But operations wise, I think like it really gave us like a break to kind of become more efficient, cut costs that were unnecessary, but you don't realize because you're normally really busy. But our biggest hit has been catering because catering accounts for about like 70% of our business. We cater to a lot of like the tech companies around here. So that was like the biggest hit for us. That now we're only like retail instead of doing catering.
Were you thinking about the catering before the pandemic or after the pandemic?
Before. So we did like big breakfast and lunch for companies. And now all those companies are shut down. So of course there's no business there. So yeah, that has been like the biggest struggle for us, like that catering revenue and just kind of trying to reinvent our operations a little into like, hey, how do we make it more contactless? How do we operate without the customers coming inside the door?
Have you been able to attract new customers, or what is your communication strategy right now?
And I feel like we've definitely attracted more local business. Like we had like a few regulars, but we also had a lot of tourism because we are like kind of popular on Instagram. So we get like tourists from Europe, but right now there's no tourism in San Francisco, of course. So I feel like people have been walking around the neighborhood more, and we get to meet our, our local customers more.
How you are getting to know the customers more now? I mean, with the social distancing issue, and what strategy are you applying to reach those consumers, the clients that you had before? How you're doing that right now?
I feel like one of our biggest strengths was that we never really shut down. I feel like probably, I mean, I don't want to say a number, but like 80% of the business in our neighborhood shut down. So we stayed open, and I feel like that has attracted people that went outside, like looking for a coffee, looking for like a quick bite. So I feel that has been like our biggest strength, like just like that we never really shut down, like that consistency really have kept like the people coming and created like new relationships with people in the neighborhood. And I feel like even though like people don't come inside, we still have the window, and I feel like people are looking for that social interactions. And people, since people are spending more time at home, when they go to places to buy a coffee, they want to talk to you more. I feel like it because they're missing that social interaction, like at the office or just like in person with their friends.
What would be the next step for you as a business, you would say? The situation is not going to change anytime soon, apparently. How would you prospect, or how you foresee the situation for Toasty?
Yeah, I feel like I don't like, especially here, since all of the companies are mostly tech companies, they're really designed to work from home. So a lot of the companies already announced like employees don't have to come back for the next year. So let's say like the catering business is canceled till then. So we've been trying to tap a little into like more private type of events. Like if someone is having a birthday party or a baby shower, and doing like a little more like customized items for them. And I've also been thinking about the possibility of talking. So we do a lot of deliveries through the apps, but the delivery range is like probably like 5 miles around from our store. So I'm thinking about the possibility of talking to other restaurants and maybe, like, hey, can we take a space of your kitchen? And then we do deliveries, only deliveries from there. And we could like, have like other um, delivered to other areas that are not close to our location.
That sounds amazing, actually. That's a very good idea as the ones that you have right now. When it comes to
Yeah.
the supplier, for example, because I know everybody knows that a restaurant needs from supplies, have something happened regarding that aspect?
So definitely I've seen like issues in the supply chain because, for example, I don't know, if a company that makes cups is shut down, like then there's not going to be cups. The biggest and the most challenging thing has been to find gloves. I mean, we as restaurants we always use gloves, and now everyone wants to buy gloves. So it's been like hard, and it's also like really expensive. Like we used to pay like $3 for a glove for a box of 100 gloves, and now the same box is $14. So it's like insane, the spike in the price.
Because of this, you have rise prices in the menu, or the prices have remained the same?
No, the prices have remained the same. I feel like we're trying to cut costs in other different things, but definitely, yeah, that's been like the main one, just like gloves and yeah, masks. But now masks are more accessible and cheaper than at the beginning. I remember paying like $60 for a box of masks. Now it's 13. So it's been like, now there's way more offer. But yeah, gloves have definitely been an issue in terms of like when the pandemic just started, I feel like the world collapsed, and I would go to my supplier and there was no food. Like, oh, sorry, there's no vegetables today. Oh, sorry, there's no meat today. So I would have to go to like regular supermarkets to buy stuff because the suppliers didn't have things available.
And I guess the situation have changed already. I mean, everything is more disposed. Like you can reach everything right now. That the situation is not like at the beginning, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's much better, but I also feel like things are taking a little longer to be delivered. I don't know if you've noticed yourself when you order something online, it takes a little longer than usual. So I feel like the suppliers also have the same issue. So sometimes some things that are always in stock, maybe they're out of stock for like 1 or 2 days until they reach the facility. So definitely that has been like well, not an issue because we try to plan in advance, but like let's say if you were to run out of something that you need right now, that could be an issue.
What about the environment in San Francisco in the hospitality business? Have you maybe gathered up a group of founders, of restaurant founders together to maybe figure out this situation together, or that haven't done yet? Maybe do you plan to do it?
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to do something like that, kind of like a support group and bounce ideas off each other. I feel like the industry here that is like the most affected is definitely, well, hospitality, of course, but definitely like hotels, because there's like tons of events and conferences and, like everything happening. And right now there's like no tourism, especially downtown San Francisco. So that's something I forgot to mention. So we're located in a residential neighborhood. So it's kind of like a good situation because people are at home, right? They're at their where they live. So people come to our place. But I feel like a lot of restaurants in downtown have been hit like even harder because nobody's going to work and nobody lives in downtown. So yeah.
I know that people try to focus a little bit on the like negative aspects that this pandemic has brought to businesses and to the world. But what could be something positive other than the things that you have already mentioned about this whole pandemic that you have realized that you wouldn't have probably realized that easy if this pandemic was not here today?
Yeah. No, one thing that I really I'm thankful for and realize like food businesses are definitely crisis proof because people still need to eat, right? So that's definitely been like something that I'm thankful for. It's like an industry that I feel like despite anything, people will still look for food. People like even if they cannot go for a trip or they lost their job, they still find like little like a pleasure in going for a cup of coffee. And I feel like I'm happy that we can bring that joy to people's life. And me personally, like as a business owner, I was like extremely busy all the time. Like we had catering orders all the time. I was running around talking to clients, and I feel like it also gave me a time to like sit down, breathe, look at my business, and work on our core business, which is like running the shop. So I feel it's been a good time to like optimize our operations. As I mentioned before, also cause like unnecessary costs that I wouldn't have realized otherwise we were having. So I think it's been a good time to like sit back and rethink things a little more.
Do you run the shop? How many people you need to run the shop? I mean, do you need more people now than you used to need, or do you need less people? Maybe more chefs, maybe less people on the floor. How is it working
Yeah,
right now in the restaurant?
yeah. So our store is really small, but very efficient system. So normally I have like around 6 people, like between like full time and part time, because we do like the catering and we're like a little busier at the store, of course, because of like people can also come inside. But right now we're down to 3 employees and myself. So yeah, so definitely we had to cut down a little on the labor cost for sure.
What is the situation with the government, for example, now? Are they giving you any aid? Are you receiving any help from the United States government, or how is it working for you guys?
So not anymore. they've been like a little flexible with it, like about like sales tax and like permits. Like they're delaying the payment of these fees till next year. But they did have some like emergency loans for businesses, so we did receive some money at the start when we were hit the hardest. That obviously helped us survive and pay our payroll, and it's money that it's forgiven. Like we don't have to pay it back, because it was basically to keep restaurants open and also to make sure that less people lost their jobs. But right now, there's no like help or anything at this point.
Well, I really hope the situation gets better. I guess it will only get better after this point. I have to thank you a lot, Sofia, for being the first guest that we have in this new series of lockdown economies, Latin Americans abroad. And hope to see you soon, and hope that I can go to your restaurant very soon.
Yeah, or I hope that we can open one in Paris really soon.
That would be fantastic. I'm sure people will love it here. Like you said, the avocado industry is growing a lot, and like that, with more people that like adding avocado to their meals. So it would be a fantastic idea.
Yeah, so let's hope for
So
that, and let's hope everything goes back to normal soon.
the new normality.
Yeah, or the old one. I like the old one.
So thank you everybody who joined us. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Sofia, for being
No, thank
our guest.
you.
Okay, bye. Take care.
Bye.